Hi, my name is Shell with Distilled Living, and we're doing an episode of Crazy Cabin Fever Cocktails as produced by Fascination Design. Today I'm going to focus on two cocktails that are made with frozen custards. The first one is going to be made with dairy and the second one's going to be made with non-dairy, so that way we can get the best of both worlds here. The Mocha one is what I'm going to start with. I'm using a clear glass. This is just a double old-fashioned glass, but you're welcome to use a bowl, you're welcome to use a cup. You can eat it straight out of the pint. The options are endless here. I'll start out by scooping this ice cream. I'm going to do 2 scoops of mocha here. The bigger the scoops, the better, because as you build this cocktail, it's going to melt a little bit, which is good, but you want to have a little bit of ice cream left over at the end. And that's probably enough ice cream. An ice cream scoop does work better, so if you have one of those, I strongly suggest it. After that, I'm going to start with a base spirit. My base spirit for this cocktail is going to be the Old Forester. It's a rye bourbon. It's got chocolate notes, nutty notes. You could also use brandy. You could use gin. You could use vodka. You could use rye bourbon. You could use... Did I hit them all? Brandy, cognac, rye bourbon, whiskey. The options are endless is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to use a ½ ounce of this on top of my ice cream. I am then going to use coffee. For today I chose to use cold brew coffee. You are welcome to use your leftover coffee from this morning. You're welcome to use espresso. You can use instant coffee. Basically whatever you have in the cabinet, and then decaf will be just a fine supplement as well. I'm going to do a ½ ounce of this coffee on top of our ice cream. And then for the liqueur part of this cocktail, I'm going to be using 2 different liqueurs. I've got the Irish cream, Fennelly's. The more notable brand is Bailey's, but Fennelly's will be fine. And then I've also got the Disaronno. Disaronno is a nut cherry liqueur, so I think it's going to pair really well with the Old Forester as well as the chocolate that is in the ice cream. This part of the cocktail gets a ½ ounce, but I'm going to be splitting it into 2 1/4 ounce. So that's a 1/4 ounce of Disaronno, and then a 1/4 ounce of this nice Irish cream. Boone County would do well. Buffalo Trace Bourbon Cream would do well. Even Bluegrass Sundown. Maybe Bluegrass Sundown is a good one, because Bluegrass Sundown would also take point with a little bit of coffee too. So the Bluegrass Sundown would have a little coffee in it, a little bourbon in it, as well as a little bit of nuttiness, I would say. If you haven't had that product, it's a really good one too. And this will just take a quick stir, and it is ready to be enjoyed. If you cannot tell, this is a very creamy cocktail. It's got a very nice head on it. And then the bottom part, as it starts to separate, will become more of a cream-based cocktail, which is what this is based off of. You could take this cocktail and basically turn any cream cocktail into an ice cream cocktail. Take, for instance, the White Russian. So the White Russian is vodka, Kahlua, and cream. So if you want to turn that into a milkshake, just use vanilla ice cream instead of your cream, and then add your vodka and your Kahlua to it, and you've got a perfect cocktail. And since this is ice cream cocktail, let's put a cherry on top. And there you have your ice cream dairy paste cocktail. So the next one I will do will be the non-dairy based. I'm going to use the champagne coupe. I'm using a sparkling wine in this, which is why I chose this glass. Also a very nice sorbet glass. If you have one of those ancient technologies, they're very cute and they're very good for this cocktail. I like sorbet, so I'm going to use 2 heaping scoops of this, but you're welcome to use whatever you like. Now, lemon sorbet is what I'm using right now, but you're welcome to use any sorbet that you like. You can even make one at home, like a cantaloupe sorbet. Take cantaloupe, blend it up in a blender with some honey, maybe a little bit of lime, maybe a little bit of basil, pop that into the freezer, and you have a nice cantaloupe sorbet. And then I'm going to be using Shimmer Light Sweet Rosè. Any bubbly wine will do just fine. I decided to do the rosé because, as you notice as I pour it, It's just got a really nice color. And it goes well up against that really nice white crisp lemon sorbet. But you can use Prosecco. You can use a sparkling red wine like Lambrusco. It's an Italian red wine. It has a little bubble to it. It's a little more bitter and a little more earthy, whereas this is a little more light and a little more crisp. But either will do just fine. Play around with it. You can do whatever you like. This will also get a nice little cherry just to make it a nice dessert cocktail. Very light on the palate on this one. There is some sweetness to it, but this one's going to be a little heavier, creamier, and this one's going to be a little more light. Both would be great to be enjoyed outside in the summer. And I hope you play around with both of these and interchange them and find the flavor that you like. But that's my segment for Crazy Cabin Fever cocktails. And as always,
recipes will be online later, and join us again next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night, everybody.